This is Braggin's Adventures.
Hey guys, what's up? We are docked here at Catalina. Well, not docked. It's a tender port. So we're I don't know. What is that? Like quarter mile out? Half mile out? No idea. Terrible at figuring that kind of stuff out. But the plan today for us is we are going to go parasailing. First time ever doing it. We had a lot of onboard credit for this cruise. I don't know how we got it, or I don't know, whatever deal I booked under. And you can use that ahead of time to book shore excursions and stuff. And I was like, hey, why not? So we did. And that's what we're doing today. The rest of the Braggin's Adventure crew, I think, is also getting off, and they're going to go, I don't know, probably walk around town, do some shopping, grab food.
I think they're going to get a golf cart, maybe.
Oh, yeah, they did talk about getting a golf cart, and we'll show you that as well. We'll get you footage from everything. So you'll get to see a little bit of what you can do on Catalina on your own versus what you can do if you do an excursion through Carnival. And then I think our plan after the excursion is to come right back on board. We've been to Catalina 100,000 times. We've done the golf cart. We've done the little boat thing over to Two Harbors, which is like one of our favorite things. Oh, yeah. They've got ATV adventures and stuff like that. You can hike up in the canyon, just shop around town. There's a really cool restaurant down over on that end that you can walk to. Buffalo Nickel.
Buffalo Nickel. I would highly recommend them.
Yeah, it's good Mexican food, but with a little Catalina Island flair.
And they have really good buffalo milk.
Yes, which is a special drink here on the island. It's alcoholic milkshake is basically what it is.
Yeah.
We can't really do that so much anymore. We have to take like 6 lactose pills for that one. We'll take you with us on Catalina. I'm not sure if I can take you in the air with us. If I can, I will. Otherwise, I'll film somebody else parasailing so that you can at least see what it looks like. All right, let's go. Guys, we took the tender boat over. It's a super short ride, 7 minutes maybe. Pretty smooth, pretty easy, embarkation, disembarkation. We've already checked in for our parasailing excursion, but we have about a half hour. We went ahead and bought the photo package for you guys, so you will have some good photos. I asked her if I could take the camera with me, and she said, at your own risk. And that phrase, while I'm pretty confident in my grip, I'm not confident in the wind 800 feet up. So we thought we'll get you the photo package so we can show you some parasailing. But we have a half hour to kill. We're going to walk into town. If we see something interesting or grab a bite or whatever, we'll show you. Other than that, we'll see you on the boat. For the day, and we did the parasailing, as you know. Thoughts?
Amazing. It is a must-do.
Must-do, and I don't ever say that about like ship sponsored excursions. We typically don't do them because we can plan stuff on our own and save a little money. But like I said, we had the onboard credit, so we decided to do this. One of the coolest experiences of my life, certainly. Book it through Carnival. Just do it. It's a good time. You get priority disembarkation, priority tendering, which was cool. And we were in there 8 minutes-ish, give or take. We also bought the photo package for you guys, and I'm showing all those on the screen right now. That 8 minutes in the air, though, was so peaceful. It's quiet up there. It's like super quiet. It's weird.
Yeah.
And they kind of mess with you a little bit. Like when they start to bring you down, lowering you, they let you dip your feet in the ocean, and then they send you zipping back up. Man, I gotta tell you, super cool.
Great guys too.
Our Captain Arturo, right, is who we have.
Yeah.
super cool. The camera guy / his first-hand man, awesome, fun guys.
Good group of people we went with.
Yeah,
too.
we lucked out. We had 12 people on the boat, but only 10 people went up. So 2 of them just came on as observers for their kids. You can ride up to 3 people at a time. But if you're a group of 2, then 2 of you are going up. They're not going to put you with other people. Yeah, it's 450 or something like that for the rig. So we got to go up just the 2 of us, and we had this quiet, amazing moment. And you just see everything. I mean, you're 800 feet in the air. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Can't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
Really can't. And you know how rarely I'm going to say that about a paid excursion through the cruise line. But this time,
Totally worth it.
worth
Love it.
every penny.
There you have it, guys. Probably the only time you'll ever hear me actually recommend booking something through the cruise line. That was our recent trip in November 2022 on board the Carnival Radiance, and we did book that parasailing, as you heard, through the cruise line. I don't just want to talk about parasailing, though. I want to talk about Catalina Island as a whole. I want to give you some tips and tricks. I want to clear up some confusion that some people online have about Catalina Island. I want to talk about where you can eat and what you can do, whether you're going there as a port of call with a cruise line, or if you're going to make it a vacation destination and go for 3 to 5 days, which, by the way, I highly recommend because it's a really awesome place to visit. So let's not wait any longer. Let's dive right in. This is Catalina Island. First up, food. There are dozens of restaurants in the tiny town of Avalon, and I've tried most of them. There's not really bad food on the island, although I did have a bad margarita once, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, just note that if you're going on board a cruise ship and this is a port of call, a single day visit for you, you're probably not going to be able to hit any of the dinner spots because they open later than the ship leaves. Also note that it's your responsibility to check operating hours. As this is a resort town, they're subject to peak seasons and off seasons, and not all restaurants will be open the time of year you visit. Be a responsible traveler and do your research first. Now, without further ado, it's mealtime. Let's talk about the one bad margarita I've ever had. It was way back in 2015, and it was at Pete's Avalon's Plaza Cafe. It was pretty late at night. There was not a whole lot to do at night on Catalina, and we were hungry and thirsty. The food was fine there, but the margarita was clearly made from a pre-done mix, and it was absolutely terrible. I would avoid that margarita at all costs. Now, if you want to talk about the best margarita I ever had on island, that's at a place called the Sand Trap. Also located behind the main drag and a little bit of a hike up into the canyon. It's at the golf course. They have amazing street tacos and superb margaritas. Get there during a happy hour and you'll save a few bucks. If you're looking for a sit-down, authentic Mexican food experience, I can't recommend Mi Casita enough. Absolutely delicious food, but past that, they have some amazing flavored margaritas. And as you can see, they are huge. Now, it's not located on the main drag either, but it is right behind it, right as you turn the corner onto the main strip from the cruise terminal. So be sure to check out Mi Casita. It's delicious. The next place I'm going to tell you about is my absolute #1 pick on Catalina Island. Now, what that means is that if you're only going to go to Catalina Island one time in your life and you're only going to eat at one restaurant, this is the restaurant to eat at. It's a little bit off the beaten path. When you get off the boat that brought you to the island, whether it's the boat from your cruise ship or the boat from the mainland, you're going to turn left instead of right. You're going to walk down this gorgeous 9/10 of a mile coastal road. You'll pass Lover's Cove on your left. It's an absolute beautiful snorkeling spot. You're going to be able to dip your feet in the water a couple times on the way, and you're going to be walking to a place that you don't feel like you belong because it looks very industrial. Keep going. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. What you're going to do is you're going to come to an amazing little place called Buffalo Nickel. It's going to be on the left-hand side between like a storage-looking facility and then like an Edison power plant-looking place. Very industrial. I promise you, though, it's open to the public. It's amazing. It's located right on the water, right next to the helipad where, you know, the rich, fancy people that fly over to Catalina land. It has some of the best, like, Mexican-American food, great burgers, great fish tacos, with a little Catalina flair. But you're there for a buffalo milk. Now, you can get a buffalo milk at like 12 different places on the island. It is the island's drink. But the best one, in my opinion, is here at Buffalo Nickel. What is buffalo milk? Well, as you can see in the picture, it's a milkshake, except it's made for adults. It's a very boozy, delicious milkshake. Now, if you're like us and you're lactose intolerant, make sure you take that lactose pill or you're going to be very unhappy on the walk back to town. Speaking of being back in town, let's talk about the Big Green Pier. This is located right in the middle of town. It jets out into the water. You can't miss it. And there's 2 restaurants on there I want to recommend to you. The first one is the big green building at the end labeled Seafood, Fish, and Chips. It's the Avalon Fish Market. It's pretty tasty food, although I will say it is a little bit greasy. So, if you want a less greasy option on the pier, but still absolutely delicious, I recommend Eric's on the Pier. It's on the more towards the town side of the pier as opposed to the end, and you will have a wait here because the food is that good. But please, go put in your order a drink, have it, and then wait for your food while you're drinking the beverage on the pier there. It is absolutely amazing fish and chips. Check them out for sure. Eric's on the Pier. For decent waterfront Mexican food, hit up the Catalina Cantina. Super tasty, relatively inexpensive for the view. For a higher end beachfront experience, hit up Avalon. Great seafood, delicious fish burger, yummy oysters. You can't really go wrong here, although it is a bit pricey. One of our favorite breakfast stops on the island is Antonio's Pizzeria and Cabaret. They make an amazing Bloody Mary, and the food is like good classic comfort diner food, but with like that Catalina twist. It's absolutely delicious, and you're right on the water, so you can't really go wrong. Looking for a romantic evening out with your lady or gentleman friend? Hit up the M Restaurant. It is a little pricey, but it is worth every penny, and if you can dine outside on their patio, you get an amazing view. For higher end and delectable eats, hit up the Naughty Fox. Great fresh food and absolutely amazing sushi. Check them out, and I would grab them and take them back to your hotel if you happen to be staying. Last up for my recommendations, whether you're a coffee drinker or a beer drinker, they brew both at the Catalina Island Brewhouse. Make sure you get the complimentary warm pretzels with your beer. That's dining on Catalina Island. Now, there's a lot of opportunities to dine there that I didn't mention. Check them all out, especially if you're staying for a week or so. You could eat at each place. There are various places at various price points. Just know that it is a resort town, and you're going to pay a resort tax, for lack of a better word. What do you say we check out things to do on the island? One of the most popular and frankly the coolest things you can do on the island is to rent a golf cart. There's a couple of different companies that do it, but they all function pretty much the same. You're going to pay for an hourly rental. You can rent it for 1 or 2 hours, and they're going to hand you a map. They're going to make sure you're not drunk and teach you how to drive a golf cart, and you're going to take it around the island on a specific path that they send you on. There's beautiful views, gorgeous vistas, and you might even get to see some wildlife while you're doing it. If you stop and take a lot of photos, it can take a little over an hour to do. If you go zipping straight through the path, it's roughly an hour drive. It is absolutely stunning though, and I highly recommend it, but I do have a couple of pro tips for you. Pro tip number 1 is that you need to make sure you bring cash with you. The reason for that is because you have to put a security deposit down, and that has to be in cash. Pro tip number 2 is make sure you book it ahead online. There's a couple of companies that rent it, but only one of them allows you to do it, and I've linked to them in the description below. Let's check in with the rest of the Braggins Adventures team to see how they're enjoying it.
What's up, guys? So, Grandma and Grandpa are gonna pass us right here. What do you guys think so far?
This is fantastic, isn't it?
This is pretty
So
cool.
fun.
Valeria drove a little bit. That was fun.
Yeah.
Tyler ran.
We're having a great time, guys. This is so much fun.
So let's go see what we do next.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know if you can see it, but that's our ship right there, and we're pretty sure that I don't know if you can see them behind the bushes, but they're parasailing right there.
There's one there,
we think
there's
that's
one
them.
And then there's one over there.
One
And then there's one
over there.
way out there. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, we're having a good time so far. What do you guys think?
Hey,
It's awesome. The view is gorgeous. If you come to Catalina,
You gotta do this.
Yeah.
So
And
we
it's not that expensive. It's
two
really-
carts, 1 hour, $60 each, $120 for 2 hours.
And that's the first one that when we got
First time renting a golf cart.
It's called Island Rentals.
Island Rentals.
The next fun thing that you can do while on island is to head up to the Wrigley Memorial and Botanic Garden. Now, this would be quite the walk. It would take you about a half hour to walk it, and it's uphill all the way to get to there. So I recommend taking the $2 bus. That bus is going to take you right past the sand trap, which we mentioned earlier, and once you get to the gardens, it's $12 to get in for an adult. You can spend an hour walking around and enjoying the architecture and all the native plants. But I want to tell you about a little secret hike as well. If you head all the way to the back where this building is and look to the right, there's a gate. If you enter that gate, you'll walk through a bunch of switchbacks and you'll end up at the very top of the island, where you'll be able to see both coasts at the same time. And that's a pretty stunning view. For your safety, you do need to get a permit ahead of time, but it's absolutely free, and I've linked to how to do that in the description below. One of our favorite things to do is to hop on the boat and take it over to Two Harbors. Two Harbors is the other small town on the island of Catalina. Now, unfortunately, you cannot do this if you're only here for the day because of the scheduling. They've got some great food over there, absolutely amazing burgers and clam chowder. It's outdoor dining, and let me tell you, they make some of the best mixed drinks over on that side of the island. It is amazing. There's also a little bit of hiking you can do. You can actually hike between the two harbors and see them both, and that's just a fun experience and a great outdoor activity to do as well. But if you're into relaxing, you can rent a cabana right on the water, and you can have food service there. They'll bring you over whatever you order, but it does come with complimentary bottled water, watermelon slices, and popsicles. And the bar service is included, so they'll bring you drinks as you want them. You do have to pay extra for that. Now, if you're not into the relaxation thing and renting a cabana, they also have all kinds of water sport rentals available as well. Outside of those 3 recommendations, and obviously the parasailing trip we took at the beginning of this video, there is still so much more to see and do on Catalina Island. And I'm just going to rattle them all off now. You can Google and pick what fits your desires and your personality. You can shop. There is tons of shopping available. There's an arcade and a small bowling alley. You can obviously be a foodie and eat your way through the island. There's a small mini golf course, which is really cool, right behind the main strip there. There is a couple of museums. There's like an art museum behind the main drag, and then if you head over all the way around to the right towards the Catalina Casino, which used to be the big gathering place, not a casino like you're thinking of. That's a cool museum now, and it's also a movie theater, but unless you're staying there overnight, you'll probably never be able to see a movie in there. If you keep going down that road, the Descanso Beach Club, great dining over there, and you can rent a cabana, play on the beach, obviously anywhere in Catalina. If you're into water sports, you can rent kayaks, you can rent paddle boards, you can go snorkeling, you can do a glass bottom boat, a submarine, a sailing adventure, obviously parasailing as you saw. If you can think of it on the water, you can do it in Catalina. You can fish. And if you fish off the end of the green pier, you do not need a fishing license in the state of California to fish off of public piers. So that's a little pro tip for you. If you're into the more touristy, excursion-y kind of things, there's a zip line you can book. There's a falconry class or something you can book. There's a ropes course. There's ATV and off-roading adventures. If you're into hiking, there are so many hiking trails on that island. You can backpack. I mean, you could spend 5 days just backpacking around that island very easily. So much to do, so much to see. You will never cram it all into one 8-hour day. So that's why I highly recommend making it a vacation destination and going and spending 4 or 5 days there if you can. Now, moving on, if you are going to ever spend 4 or 5 days there, I want to talk about hotels real quick, and then I want to just clear up some confusion and give you guys some tips about the island. If you're going to stay, there are probably 12 hotels, I think, right there on the main strip. They all are going to offer you beautiful views, high quality, high class service. I've toured many of them. They're all gorgeous. They're all stunning. Here's the thing, though. They're all going to cost you a pretty penny. Now, I'm going to give you 2 other options. And these will save you some money, which allows you to spend more money on food and activities, right? But they're two very different ideas. So the first one I want to talk about is really close to the action, but away from the noise. It's located slightly above town, and when I say slightly, I'm talking maybe a block. It is a little bit of an incline, but it's not terrible. I mean, we went grocery shopping at the Vons in town and walked back to this hotel, okay? Let me preface this by saying it's a slightly nicer version of a Motel 6. I don't know how else to say it. The bed's kind of hard and cardboardy. You're not going to get any views. There's no frills. But it's super close to all the action, and it's really cost effective. And they oftentimes will offer packages where they'll bundle your boat ride over on the Catalina Express and maybe some food and beverage credit or a golf cart rental or something like that. So it's definitely worth checking it out. It's called the Seaport Village Inn, and it's located just past the main Dragon, up a little road. They got rid of their swimming pool. The room we stayed in, our view was of a brick wall. You know what I mean? Like I said, no frills, super cheap. But if you're not going to spend a whole lot of time in your hotel room and you're looking to save a little bit of money, that's the place to definitely stay. The second place that I want to recommend is away from the action and the noise. So it's going to be a little bit out of town, but it is way, way less expensive than anything on that main drag. It's called the Catalina Canyon Inn, and it's literally located right behind the golf course, the Sand Trap restaurant I mentioned earlier, about halfway between town and the Wrigley Botanic Garden. This is a little bit higher end. This is a little more of a luxury experience. I mean, they've got a giant hot tub literally in your hotel room, plenty of amenities. And you know what? Honestly, the walk into town's not bad. The walk back to the hotel from town, not bad either. You're halfway to the Botanic Gardens, so that walk's not bad in both directions either way. It's kind of a nice middle of the island place. So if you want a more quiet getaway, I highly recommend that place. Last thing before I let you go is I want to talk about some online confusion and give you a couple more tips, just in general for the island. So the first thing I want to say is I see a lot of confusion in like some of the Facebook groups and stuff where people think Catalina is a foreign country. It's not. It's part of California, Los Angeles County. All the Los Angeles County rules apply when you're in Catalina. So yes, they take the US dollar. Yes, they'll take your credit card without foreign transactions fees. If you get arrested, it's going to be by the LA County Sheriff. So it's not a foreign country, part of California. Second thing I want to say is if you are going to do a vacation destination trip over there, please, please, please do book one of the local hotels, either the two I mentioned or one of the other 12 or 13 that are on the island. Don't book an Airbnb, and here's why. When you book one of the hotels, you are supporting that local economy. You are supporting the employees and the workers and the businesses that exist on Catalina Island. When you book an Airbnb, chances are that you are probably supporting someone over here on the mainland who has no direct tie to Catalina at all. Also, as you well know, I'm not a huge fan of Airbnbs because they destroy the rental market. Not everyone can afford to buy a home, and Airbnbs are slowly taking over resort towns, making it impossible for the employees to find affordable living in those towns where they work. The last thing I want to remind you of is just a general tip for when you're traveling anywhere. Remember, Avalon is a resort town, but it is still someone's home. People do live there, and we need to respect their home when we're visiting. When we travel or go to Disneyland or restaurants or anywhere, it seems, we tend to check our brains. And I'm very sensitive to that because I live in a resort town here in the San Bernardino Mountains of California. And when people come to visit, they kind of just think that stuff's going to happen by magic for them, and that's not the case. Some of us still live and work here, and we have to be able to do our jobs and get home to our families. And you have to remember that when you go visit other places that people do live there, and they have to do those same things. So please do show respect. Be a good traveler. Don't just be a tourist. And you know what? That's all that we can hope for. I hope you enjoyed today's video featuring Catalina Island, California. And we'll see you on the next adventure.